Welcome to Here to Serve, a United Regional podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Graves. My favorite part of being the Director of Patient Experience at United Regional is the incredible people that I meet and work with on a daily basis, and I want you to meet them too. Join us to meet the people behind the badge and to highlight those who are here to serve. Welcome to the Here to Serve podcast, guys. We're glad to have you today. We're calling this the Cath Lab Guys episode. So I don't know if you know this or not, but when over the last few weeks, whenever I was getting ready for this, people say, "Hey, who's coming up next on the podcast?" And I'll go, "Well, I got the Cath Lab Guys scheduled," and everybody immediately knows when I say the Cath Lab Guys, they're like, "I know who you're talking about." So I'm kind of the Cath Lab Guys. I'm thinking we need a T-shirt.
A calendar.
A calendar's even better. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm picturing y'all's faces on a like Mount Rushmore type situation. You know, like a T-shirt, the Cath Lab Guys.
Heck yeah.
But I mean, we don't want to leave anybody out, so we definitely there's a lot more folks in the Cath Lab, so I think we need a Cath Lab Gals. Yeah. Just the Lisas just flexing on the front of the.
They did want us to give them a shout out.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
back working while we're down here.
Yeah, they're working. We'll definitely have future episodes, have them in. So real quick, let's go around and for anybody that doesn't know you in the organization, let's start with you, Keith, and introduce yourself and tell us what you do at United Regional.
All right, my name's Keith Anderle, and I'm a registered nurse in the cardiac department. Been there for, I guess, 25 years now, and at the hospital going on 27.
My goodness.
So Cath Lab, EP Lab.
Who's been there the longest of the group?
Me.
Yeah. At the hospital, him.
Yeah. Cath Lab, probably.
We can just move on to his introduction.
Yeah. There we go.
Larry Dwyer.
Okay.
So been at the hospital since '89. Started as a unit clerk, respiratory therapist, then Cath Lab. So probably about, I would say, 30 years in the Cath Lab, the remainder respiratory therapy / unit clerking.
So you started as a unit clerk.
Got out of the Air Force with experience but no license.
Okay.
Started as a unit clerk on 5 West telemetry back then, when all the boxes were on the wall versus Bluetooth or wireless, and just had opportunities. It was great. On the job training and challenged licensures, and went to school, correspondence, and it was great.
And look at you now.
Look at me now.
Look at you now.
Old.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
Chris Clark. Been at the hospital coming up on 29 years. Been in the Cath Lab 26 going on 27 years. Kind of like Larry, everyone else, I started as an LVN, Bethania nights, and then became an RN. I worked both general, Bethania, and then switched over to Cath Lab. Been ever since.
Yeah.
So, it's here to serve.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. How about you?
Well, I'm Zach McGuire. I've actually been in healthcare since about 2010. Healthcare was actually not my first route. I actually went to college and got a bachelor's degree in marketing.
Really?
Yeah, and so I actually moved to San Angelo, and I tried to get into marketing there, and they wouldn't hire me. I didn't have any experience. So kind of like Larry's story, I started off as a front desk clerk in the radiology department. And kind of moved my way around through the radiology department, Shannon. I was a CT MRI assistant. Basically, I just got the patients ready so they could scan. And then I was really enjoying the healthcare field, so I wanted more. I started going, actually I moved to a PCA in the ER. I did that for about 2 years. And fell in love with, medicine and taking care of people, the emergency room. But I didn't have a degree. So I went back to X-ray school here at Midwestern and got my radiology degree. And right out of school, I started working nuclear medicine. I did CT, and then in about 2017, I moved up to the Cath Lab, and I've been there since.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a repetitive theme as most people, once they get into the Cath Lab, that's where they want to be.
I don't know about these guys, but I remember being a PCA in the ER, and I would see the Cath Lab team walk in to take care of the MI, and I was like, before I even got to school, I said, that's exactly what I want to do.
Well, let's be honest. The Cath Lab is the cool kids.
Yeah.
It's you guys. I feel cool just being here with you guys right now. Only problem is I don't have anything on my head. And I feel like I would be cooler.
I got an extra one. You want?
Be a lot cooler if I did, man. I need
we got one.
I need an honorary.
Just
Yes.
for you.
Now you have to tell me how to put it on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look silly with it.
No, that's it.
I need an honorary Cath
That's it,
Lab.
man.
Yep.
Boom.
Cath Lab
That's
hat.
you.
That's
Now,
perfect.
now you guys all fold yours up. Is that like a Green Beret kind of deal that you have to do?
Yeah, it stays on your head better.
Yeah.
Stays on your hand.
It kind of acts as a
No,
sweatband too.
His is custom.
It's
Yeah.
tied in a knot.
Okay,
That's the
I'm
challenge.
trying to flex as I do this for the camera. I feel it's like a little bit of a Rambo
Dang.
situation.
Yeah.
The guys that do the filming for us are incredible, but I only asked them for one thing. I was like, I want everybody on here to look jacked and tan. So far, they've not come through on that, but maybe today's the day.
That's it,
So,
baby.
all right, is it on right?
You look great, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I know I'm not actually in the special forces, but I kind of feel like you guys made me feel like I'm
Play
in the-
one on TV.
Yeah, I'm in the special forces.
Honorary today.
Well, I think it's really a testament, not only the amount of experience and longevity that you guys bring to the table is pretty impressive. I mean, if as a patient I'm going to end up in your area, I want some experience and some people that are there, have done it for a long time, that know what they're doing, that care about it. So really impressive stuff. So let me ask you this. I want to get into some serious stuff, but first I want to hear. I'm a nurse by trade. Started as PCA, by the way.
There you go.
So some similar journeys, although I didn't go into the special forces. At the end of it, I was like, I want to be cool like those guys one day, and then I went in the opposite direction. But I want to ask you this: I love healthcare stories. What's like the coolest? If one pops into your head, like a really cool story that was exciting or that you were super proud of that's happened in the Cath Lab that comes to mind. Anybody have any of those? I didn't warn you about this. So I'm totally putting
You didn't
on
warn
the
us about
spot.
anything.
Yes, that's how podcasts roll.
There's the proud moments and there's the humorous moments, and sometimes they're one and the same. But real quick though, follow up with Zach. You know, when I was nursing on the floor, it was the same thing. When the Cath Lab came to the floor to, back then to remove arterial sheets and hold pressure, or if I'm getting a report, from what they just did, I had no clue. I was really very ignorant of what they did, but I knew it was something very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the opportunity came up, there was a position, I knew Larry and Chris, and so that's how I ended up in the Cath Lab. But I can tell you that right before I did, one of the nurses, the female nurses from the Cath Lab, was bringing a patient back. So this is the story you're asking for.
Okay, I'm excited.
And this lady, I was charge nurse that day on a particular floor in the hospital, and this patient of mine, we had, got to know each other those couple hours before she went for a procedure. So back then we'd move the patient they would, be on a gurney, and then they'd come back to the or to our floor, and they would scoot over in the bed. So I looked at this woman. I was on the other side of the bed ready to receive her, and one of our female nurses was on the other side giving her direction. You need to move over there, slide, but don't move, your right leg. And I looked her right in the eye, and I said, ma'am, I need you to move your big hips over into this bed. I about died. What I meant to say is I need a big move with your hips under this bed.
No.
So that was not a proud
The
moment.
right
but it
words,
was
the
very-
wrong order. And then
Thank
never did it
goodness
back.
she was a lovely woman. She bust out loud. I was so embarrassed, but I know, so I'll tell you, it was Rhonda from the Cath Lab. She's never forgotten
Never
that story. We
forgot
still
that.
joke around and talk about that. And they still hired me into
They still let you in.
Yeah, they still let me in.
You said something. You was like, I don't even know what those guys do, but I know it's important. I've been in the Cath Lab a few times, not as a patient, thankfully. I've had family come through, but just observing, and sometimes I'm doing shadowing and coaching and those sorts of things. And man, every time I go into the Cath Lab, and it sometimes it's years apart, and I forget, but I'll go in there, and every time I walk out going, this is so stinking cool. Like, it is just, the stuff you guys are doing is so cutting edge. I mean, you're literally in there, like, messing with people's hearts, in real time.
You take it serious, for sure.
It's a big deal,
I mean,
right? It matters.
It's life or death.
It's life or death.
But you got guys like Chris who are the entertainment to the patients. They come in there petrified, and by the end of the day, they're all singing songs in the room, and the patients leave with, they came in extremely scared, and leave probably with the best memory of, Chris hanging from a pole in the wall to, singing a song and running down the hall with them, and
Dancing.
they love it,
Yes.
And when you look from the outside in, you don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
If you're the patient, it's a different world. You appreciate it much better,
Yeah.
But still, it's a serious job. There's downtimes, and during our downtimes, we have just as much fun. Keith is petrified of rats, and we had our moments of scaring him to
Still the
death, scaring him to death right at the and Zach spiders, just we're gonna keep writing things down.
Terrible.
We have our good times, but we take our job serious.
No, it's very clear. And it's one of those jobs, and all I had this thing where I joke around. People are like, "How's your day going?" I'm like, "Saving lives," And as an organization, we are right as an organization. But with you guys, what you're doing is literally like, people come in, and if they don't make it to you in time, they're not going to walk out of this place. Like it's that serious. And if you don't do your job right, they're not going to walk out. But I've got to think, I've never actually been in your shoes. I got to think it's pretty satisfying to know, hey, this person's alive today because we did our job well. We were on top of it. We've trained, we've drilled, we've put the time in, and then this person hit the front. What's our time now? Like door to balloon time?
I think our 62 minutes is our average.
Yeah. Like
and under 90 is the goal. So pretty good.
So that's incredible. So you're doing this serious job that is, and my thinking about this is like, man, this could be such a heavy job that it would burn you out, and you're like, this is too much stress. I can't handle it. I don't want to do this. You guys have created a culture up there where people have been doing it for a long, long time and keep doing it. I want to ask you about what do you think's created that culture. But before I do, I want to tell my own Cath Lab story real quick, because it was one of my favorite things I've seen at United Regional over the years. So I was doing shadowing. That was probably 6 months or a year ago. I was with a provider who had asked me to shadow and give them some help throughout the day. And so I was just watching, and what do you guys call the room that you watch from? What's that?
The control room.
Control room. Okay, so I'm in the control room. And for anybody that's never been in the Cath Lab, it's like a viewing gallery kind of deal. It's a big glass wall, and you can see the patient. And so there's some staff looking at monitors inside the control room, and then there's the provider and staff in with the actual patient doing the procedures. And so I'm just sitting back in there watching, taking notes, learning. And this particular case ended up being a little bit complex, where the provider actually stopped and said, hey, we're kind of at a crossroads here of what are we going to do? Are we going to go ahead and treat this patient? Or are we going to need to ship this patient elsewhere? This is a delicate situation. And what happened next blew me away. The provider comes back into the viewing room, and he calls everybody, the whole team, he calls them all in there. He leaves, there's one person, I believe it was Jacob, if I'm not mistaken, stayed with the patient, visiting with him. The patient's awake and talking, and they're just chit-chatting, and he's putting the patient at ease, and everybody comes back around, and the provider says, here's where we're at, here's what I think, here's problem, option A, option B. I want to hear, and I'll never forget his words. He said, I want to hear what the hive mind thinks. And then he went around, and every single person on that team that was in that room gave their opinion, gave their pros and cons of what they thought we should do. And then when everybody agreed, he said, got it, let's do it. And then he kept the patient, took care of what needed to be taken care of, had a good outcome. Not only was that so cool, that in the background I'm listening, and I heard Jacob tell the patient, hey, everything's okay. The provider is talking with the whole team because all of us is smarter than any one of us. And I heard him say that to the patient, and like the director of patient experience in me, like wanted to cry or clap, or I was so pumped about here. I'm like, this is the culture. This is it. It was so cool to me. I was so proud in that moment. And then you guys went and did the things that need to be done and took care of the patient. The patient had a great outcome. I'll never forget that. And to me, that was like the epitome of a team, a lack of ego, trust, culture. Like that's what you want. So you guys talk to me. Maybe I just saw that one time, and I just saw you on your best day. I don't know.
No.
Maybe talk to me about what you've done to create that culture and how you sustain that.
Well, with me being the person that has not been in the lab the longest, I can tell you, having the amount of experience and knowledge that our lab has compared to a lot of other labs, because I've gone and I've seen different labs, and the amount of experience and knowledge that is here at United Regional, I wouldn't be where I am without having these guys constantly instilling knowledge on me. It elevated my game so much quicker to be able to talk to the doctor like that and give an input that a lot of facilities, they don't have the staff that we have, the amount of knowledge and skill that they can't instill that on the new people.
Yeah.
So having 60, 70 years of knowledge just right here amongst 3 of the 4 people. You can't get that anywhere else. Yeah. And so just having that as somebody coming up, and we have people that have 2-3 years now in there, they're getting the same thing. Right. And you can see that they're growing, at an exponential rate that a lot of places don't get.
I think you feel almost committed in the sense that your family. And Zach's just right there, and fantastic tech, and will exceed anything that probably all 3 of us have done. But it's the commitment that we're family. We've watched each other's kids grow up. We've been through the good times, the bad times. We've seen our own family come into the Cath Lab. Mm-hmm. My own dad, was there on a Saturday. I was not on call. I fully trusted what was going on back there.
Wow, what a compliment.
And that's for many of us. I'd say almost a quarter of our parents have been through that lab. So if we're not at the top of our game and the very best for our own families that are going to be coming in, that's why in healthcare, and I'm a terrible person with change. I used to be. None of us like change. Right. I think we all get very comfortable.
Correct.
But this is the wrong profession to be in if you're not used to change, because without change, there's no growth. And so I think that we feel that commitment. We feel that, and it's being proud of what we've built, but it doesn't make what you do, by the way, because you keep talking about the Cath Lab boys, any less important. I mean, you guys, we need everybody. We need the whole hospital to be successful. And so, we do know that before you can clock in, 3 of us have to clock out just to meet your caliber of what this guy brings to the hospital.
It's impressive, yeah. Well, hey, now that I've put this on, I'm going to be unstoppable. I'm going to tell you right now, I already feel it's unstoppable. Well, something you said, and it's come up, it's interesting. I've started to kind of catch themes across these podcasts. I don't know how many episodes we're on now, but one of the themes that comes up is this is personal for us. This is where my mom comes. This is where my dad comes. This is I got to meet your dad, by the way, not too long ago.
Right.
Patient Family Advisory Council.
Speaking your praises,
Oh, he's clearly proud of you. Immediately told me who he was and who his son was.
He pulled that card, huh?
Yeah, immediately.
Oh, yeah. Glad to have this on film.
Yeah, right? He was very proud of you. We'll have to talk more about. Yeah. Maybe he'll be one of our tens of viewers.
We're gonna push it to the thousands.
Yes, that's right. I love it. So, anybody else have any thoughts on that before I move on from that topic? That's good. No. All right. Well, you guys have truly built something special, and so kudos to you. For when I say you guys, I'm talking about the collective Cath Lab. I know it's more than the team's a lot bigger than just the Cath Lab guys, and so super proud of what you guys. And I'm just proud when people say like, hey, what's United Regional exceptional at? One of the first things that pops in my mind is cardiac care. Like what are we exceptional? What makes us stand out? I'm like, cardiac care. I'll even go like, hey, name a cardiac certification, and they start to name it. I'm like, got it. What's a cardiac award? Got that one too. Like it's cool to see, man. It makes me super proud. So let me ask a couple more questions of you guys. What's the best part of your job? Like what's the part that you just like gets you excited?
We just shared an experience with senior leadership in the board meeting or the boardroom, whatever.
Tell me about that.
We were able to talk about a patient that we just treated a couple weeks ago. The patient had been going to Dallas for their treatment for the past 7 to 10 years. Had an electrophysiologist taking care of her. We know the staff and the doctor and a bunch of the people that were involved in her care. And just through the year, she was treated with medication, cardioversions, and actually had an ablation several weeks before she presented to our ER. She came in through our ER and needed an electrophysiologist here in town, so Dr. Kumar got involved. She fell in love with Dr. Kumar and was like, why can I not get my care here? I've been going to Dallas for all these years. I really trust you. I like you. What can you do for me? And he suggested, going in and doing another ablation, even though she had had one just a couple weeks before. So she'd been dealing with an arrhythmia for years and years and years. It was life limiting. We were able to get her in there. We found her arrhythmia, treated it, and immediately after she woke up from general anesthesia, she started crying. She knew immediately that we had fixed that problem. And she had been 7 to 10 years dealing with the same problem. And the ablations they had done on her in the past were for different arrhythmias, but the one that was causing her problem was the one we found. So that instant gratification, and the patient was just crying and overwhelmed. That's kind of what, gets us every day coming to work. Hope we can fix someone, make more stories like that.
That's incredible.
So we got to share that this month with, like I said, senior leadership. It's Heart Month. We shared that story. There's thousands of them like that, but that was pretty cool. So hopefully she'll end up on a podcast or something soon.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
I would
really
love
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Corey
I
had
would love
mentioned to
that.
us that he's
Yeah.
going to try to reach out and see
Okay.
if she'll tell her story.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So, one of my favorite, it's very similar to his, but we treated a young lady who her husband actually started CPR on her at her house, got her to the ER. We brought her up, and we were able to put an Impella, which is a heart device that helps take the workload off the heart. And it's a long story, but it kind of comes full circle. We were able to save her. She walked out of here, and we had a dinner at Pelican. We were doing educational dinner, and the young lady walked in and had dinner with us.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's gotta be a little surreal.
It was unbelievable. You know, Dr. Thoda was there. He was the actual implanting physician. Took great care of her. The staff, was amazing that night. It was one of the ones where we get called in the middle of the night, and then just to see her and her sister have dinner with us, and we talked to her about what we did and what we went through, and then kind of just hearing what she did after leaving the hospital. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable. Very rewarding.
Yeah,
Very
I can
rewarding.
imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be very rewarding. Well, sometimes there's some work you do that you never really know the outcome. You don't see
Absolutely.
you have no idea, right? If you made a difference. So you guys, for being able to see some of these full circles.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't always happen, but when you can see it, wow, and the story you told, I know that's something Corey has talked about a lot. That Corey's been very passionate about getting rid of that narrative that you have to leave Wichita Falls to go get world-class care. And I see that. I'm starting to see that and hear that more and more. I've had so many patients write us, leave comments, send me letters, all that kind of stuff. That say we were traveling through here, and we thought we were going to end up at this small town hospital, and now we come back here for our care. Like, people they literally fly from other places to come get their care here, and that's a great example. I think, is it behind me? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Destination for world-class care. Like, people would come here, so that's awesome.
And so we have reps. They sell their products, and we're 2 hours north and south of major cities, and those major cities have a lot of hospitals.
Sure.
Not as much experience in the cath lab for sure, but they can rely on each other. They can rely on the reps being close by. We're 2 hours out. Our staff has to be crazy trained to do the things that down there they rely on the reps, the experts, to do. So that's a huge plus for us, and the staff is phenomenal at that. We know what to do, often better than the reps know how to do it, because we're exposed to the cases up here. So that's something you can't find in big cities,
Yeah. It's incredible, man. Well, it shows.
And to really build on him too, like the innovation part of our mission, things have changed drastically over their course of career, and even just in the 9 years that I've been in the cath lab, things have changed, and it's for the better. The amount of tools and the stents and all of the heart devices and just all of the tools we're getting to see. It's all innovation. This is something that the big cities offer that we are able to offer here too.
And sometimes don't offer because they can't afford it.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
we're fortunate.
Yeah.
So
What's one of the new cool like slick technologies that you guys are doing now that, I mean, when I say new, it doesn't have to be like new from last week, but something that's changed in the last maybe few years that's...
I mean, I don't know about the EP side, which they have really great technology. We have balloons that you can put inside the coronaries, even the leg arteries, and at a very low pressure, we can emit shock waves that actually break up calcium to make that artery more compliable to when we do put the stents in. It actually creates a bigger lumen that blood will flow through. We've got now a balloon that actually has a drug on it that in certain scenarios, and there's studies that are being performed that you can actually use that balloon and not maybe have to leave a stent behind. Now, there's obviously trials that are trying to prove that, but we have that technology now here at United Regional that just started in the United States, within the last year. And we have that to offer our patients.
And we have that new hybrid room, so it's a cross between surgery and cath lab. And we do, the TAVRs, the aortic valve repairs and replacements.
For somebody that's never even heard of TAVR, doesn't know what it is. What's
so
high
versus
level?
having you cut open, from your neck down to your belly button pretty much, and stopping your heart and replacing this valve, a pretty important valve, a door, if you would, between two chambers or the left ventricle and the aorta. We could do that percutaneously, sticking a needle in your groin and going up and actually replacing that valve with another valve.
So instead of open heart surgery, we can.
Yep, and
do
you
it
go home
Cath
the
lab.
next day versus you have this huge incision, maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3 days in ICU, 2 or 3 days on the floor.
Infection risk, a whole, I mean,
Everything
yeah.
terrifying. Everything is, and it's game changing. I mean, we do it in conjunction with surgery, so it's a team approach, a hybrid approach. We do a lot of that up there now in the Cath Lab. But that we've done 110-ish of those, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot. I mean,
That's 110 souls right there, man.
life change, and they were not eligible for surgery, so
Yeah.
they're miserable the rest of their short lives.
Right.
And now we've
Just gave them their life back.
and they're back playing in the yard with their kids. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different thing.
It's incredible,
And
man.
EP has
Yeah, I think what's amazing, all these, and Larry probably knows closer off the top of his head how many different new procedures that we're doing now versus 2 years ago. Like how many are we able to do now in the last 2 years that we previously had not? And some of these are not just, old procedures that other places have been doing for 5 years, and now Wichita Falls is just now catching up. Some of those have been other places and offered sooner, but some of these are newer type procedures that the world, that medicine is offering. And so for Wichita Falls to be able to bring that innovation, like Zach's saying, here to Wichita Falls, so they don't. I think what's been surprising is that you build this program, the TAVRs, these different acronyms we use for these procedures, the ablations that we do, and you worry about, is there enough sick people? Are there enough people that we're going to be able to do this for? They don't run out. These people are here. They're in our community. They need this treatment. They need this fix. And so where were they going?
Yeah.
They weren't probably sitting at home. They were going somewhere else to be treated. So now we're able to keep these folks here. We're talking hundreds,
Yeah.
thousands of people now that we're
Yeah.
able to keep home.
And we offer the service lines they offer without the traffic. Because the traffic is horrible too, you know?
Dang right. That's
Yeah,
exactly
it's
right.
horrible.
When I first started, we had balloons and pacemakers. That was it. And that's all the world had, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
yeah.
or you went to
So
surgery.
now, yeah, it's
now,
like-
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's
The
unreal.
things,
Pre-stents
balloons,
is what he's
yeah,
saying.
before
Yeah.
stents. I mean,
Yeah,
as sad as
pre-stents.
crazy that is, but it's medicines that have changed the world for
Yeah.
sure as well. But and we have Rathgaber. People that aren't in town, you got to go down with your
Stay right
family. McDonald's house, if you're lucky, a cheap
Right.
hotel.
Now we can put them up right there.
Rathgaber, right?
Yeah.
You said it
there.
right.
I think
You said it right.
He looked at me like I was
He's a
right.
Yankee. He still doesn't get always get it right 30 years later.
Well, man, I could seriously sit and talk to you guys the rest of the day. Before we wrap up, does anything I haven't asked you guys that you wanted to talk about? Anything you want folks to know about the Cath Lab or cardiac, care in general? This is your chance. The whole world's listening.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pressure.
It's a great place to work for lots of reasons. And probably the most rewarding is you save someone's life. Not everyone can say that, So that's
I say it metaphorically. I'm like, we save lives, and you guys are like,
Yeah.
no, we actually
Did, yeah.
today 4, no big deal. Just, I'm no hero, but I saved 4 lives today.
and we don't think of us as heroes. I mean, that's our job. We take it serious,
sure.
and we enjoy our job. But not everyone lives. So those days are
That's
They're
the hard.
tough.
That's the.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys about the hardest part. We ran out of time, but I would assume that's the
It is.
answer.
That is the hardest part.
Not everybody has the outcome that we want.
And it kind of sounds cliche, but you do have to remember that everybody you take care of is somebody's dad,
Right.
the brother, the
Right.
mom, their sister. And if you really, I tell people, I said, we're going to take care of you today like your family, and not a dysfunctional family. I always follow up with that, and they laugh. But if you truly care for that person that way, it does change how you care for that person. I mean, if you view that person that way. A common theme that I keep hearing in some of my daily reflections recently is, your availability versus your ability. And you need the ability, you need the growth that we talked about, the innovation change, but just making yourself available, showing up for work, not only for the patients, but for your, for your fellow team and everything else.
Man, that's fantastic. That's a great place to wrap up, I think, for the day. And man, for all the listeners out there, every one of these I've walked away with like new wisdom, new understanding. They've, to be frank, all these episodes have been a huge blessing to me, and I've heard back from some folks out in the community that it's a blessing to them. So do me a favor. I want to put the shine on these guys and all the other employees that we brought on. So please help us share this. We're on Apple, Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify now. We're on YouTube. So, and our marketing team's doing a great job of putting out some kind of shorter clips. Help us share those on Facebook, wherever. Share them with your family. If you hear something that is meaningful to you, it'll probably be meaningful to somebody else. We want to share the wealth of knowledge. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for coming and visiting.
Thanks for having us.
And
Thanks for
thank
having
you
us.
for my hat. All right.